So today we're going to be learning about ratio tables and how to use them, but before we get started, I want to refresh on what is a ratio. So if you don't remember, a ratio is a comparison of two things. For instance, how many fish are caught by a fisherman? And on our last lesson, I think our ratio was for every 2 fishermen, they caught 5 fish. So a ratio, again, compares 2 quantities. Ratio tables help to show equivalent relationships. So in our notes, we're writing down equivalent relationships, and we should know that these are ratios that are the same, also known as equivalent fractions. For example, 1 monkey eats 3 bananas. This would be a ratio relationship here. For every 1 monkey, there are 3 bananas. And there he is, isn't he cute? So how many bananas are needed to feed 3 monkeys? We're going to use a ratio table to figure this out. And the bananas are going to be proportional to the number of monkeys. So for every 1 monkey, there has got to be 3 bananas. So let's go ahead and look at this. Whoops, hold on, getting ahead of myself. So I have for every 1 monkey, I need 3 bananas. Now notice that I wrote 3 monkeys because that was my original question. So I need to figure out how to get from 1 to 3 to make an equivalent ratio. If I were to figure out how did I go from 1 to 3, I multiplied times 3. If I did it down or on the top, then to solve this problem, I can do the same thing on the bottom, and it must be the same if it's equivalent. So we'll multiply times 3. 3 times 3 is, of course, 9. Okay, so I figured that out. What if I have 21 bananas? How many monkeys can I feed from 21 bananas? That's a good question, and I hope you're following along in your notes here. I'm going to see, can I go from 9 to 21? I can't, can I? That's going to be kind of tough. However, I can back up to this, to the 3, and say, 3 times what gives me 21? 3 times what gives me 21? Hopefully you said 3 times 7 gives me 21. Oh man, that was a really funky 7. Let's try that again. Okay. Since I went from my first box to my third box, I'm going to do the same thing right here. 1 times 7 will tell me how many monkeys if I have 21 bananas. And 1 times 7 is, of course, 7. Okay. What if I have 30 monkeys? Now how many bananas do I need? I think I will change colors so that I can see better here. I can't say 7 times 30. There's nothing, well, I mean, if I want to go to decimals, but I don't. That's too difficult, so I'm going to back up in my table. What about 3? Can 3 go to 30? Absolutely. What about 1? Absolutely. I'm going to do this, and it doesn't matter. I could do 1 or 3 as long as they're a factor of 30, and we'll say 3 times 10. Since I went from this box, I have to go from the same box to get how many bananas we need for 30 monkeys. And this is times 10. And I know this is starting to look kind of messy, but writing it down helps me. 9 times 10 is 90. So I would need 90 bananas to feed 30 monkeys. Hopefully you don't have that many monkeys at your house. So guys, we use multiplication and division to solve ratio tables. That's exactly what we were doing. I want you to pause this and see if you in your notes can figure out the blank spots in my table here. So this is the ratio of students to teachers. So for every 2 teachers, there are 24 students. And I can see that I went backwards here. I went from 24 to 12. If I'm getting smaller, am I multiplying or am I dividing? It seems to me that if I'm getting smaller, I must be dividing. So let's try this. How did I get from 24 to 12? Well, I had to divide by 2. If I divided by 2 from this box to this box, I'll have to do the same thing from here to here. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Whenever I get to a 1 on any point in my table, I can go from 1 to anything. So that really helps me. I don't know how I went from 12 to this blank box, so I'm going to move down here and say, well, how did it go from my 1 to my 4? To go from 1 to 4, I multiplied times 4. Since I was getting larger, I knew I was multiplying, so I'll do the same thing on the top. 12 times 4 is 48. Whoa, that's quite an 8, but you guys get the picture. All right, let's keep going. Now I need to find something that will take me to 36. 48 times something, well, you know, that gives me, I'd end up, actually I'm getting smaller. I'd need to divide and I'd have a decimal. That's kind of messy. I'm going to back up. Is 12 a factor of 36? Hopefully you're saying yes. So I can go from the 12 to the 36. 12 times what? Well, I know it's 12 times 3. Since I moved from the bottom box, from the third box, I'm going to move from the third box again. 1 times 3 is, of course, 3. So whenever there are 36 students, I'm going to need 3 teachers.